Yeah, we're living here in New York. We're living the dream.
That's good. Okay, I have to start off by saying, have you been able to find Miss Moon, your cat?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we don't know where. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where she is. I'm a little concerned. Yeah, we're
She's
working
in
on
your,
that.
she's in your space somewhere, though.
Yeah, she's here. And but a good model agent can solve any problem. So that's the thing. It's like I'm not worried. Because a good model agent, we can track down anyone,
There
and
you go.
we've got great skills. We got a great skill set. So I'm not worried.
Well, then you're the perfect person to be taking care of her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you found each other.
Yeah.
So, Greg, welcome. Thank you so much again for taking time and joining me here on this VIDSIG Live. I'm Shelly Till, the host and member of the team at VIDSIG. And I want to officially welcome you to the VIDSIG talent team. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on VIDSIG thus far?
Well, listen, I think VidSig's great. First of all, I love it for just being able to access, some of my favorite celebrities on there. I was checking it out. I think it's a great program, but just it more than that, it occurred to me that, when I started speaking to the VidSig people and they started talking to me about being involved in it, and I'm not a celebrity, but then it occurred to me, I'm like, wow, this is something that's really an interesting opportunity, because there's a lot of kids that don't have access to someone like me, and I have so much that I can offer. I can help talent, and I can help kids, and that's really something that is really important to me. So I thought, this is a great opportunity for me to be able to connect with kids and be able to help them navigate through this modeling world, because during the quarantine, I started talking to kids and finding out what they're looking for, and I spoke to over 600 kids on my own time, and I realized there's so much bad information out there, and you can't find top information. You can't find information on how to just get there. And so I realized that I could help kids, and VidSig was the perfect platform for that. So it's great. I love it.
Awesome. Well, if you're listening in and you want to connect with Greg live one-on-one, just like we're doing here, it's not a pre-recording. It's a conversation between you and Greg. You can go to vidsig.com and book your session live with him today. Well, after the VidSig Live, let's do that. So you mentioned, and I was reading that you have connected over quarantine with so many young aspiring models in trying to get into a business that's super competitive. And as you mentioned, a lot of misinformation out there. What were some of the things that you've been hearing generally that you want to dispel, the myths or the misinformation?
Well, I think that there's a lot. What happens is 9 out of 10 kids out there that are wanting to be models are either basically doing it wrong, or they're getting scammed, and that just was horrifying to me, because as a model agent, I'm normally doing a 70-hour week, and that just does not give me any time to really look outside of my world, of my elite level clients. And so what I realized is that there's so much bad information out there, and there's so many places. There's a lot of all these kids are ending up at these like a lot of these companies are saying that you have to pay to be part of an agency. You have to pay for these classes, and you have to pay that, and not just pay, but pay thousands of dollars for things that they don't need. And that just really frustrates me, because that's a lot of money these parents are paying for these kids to get their opportunity. And for me, I would rather be able to get these kids straight from point A to point B. And you know what? If they can get there, I'll help them get there. But if they can't, I'd rather tell them the truth. And I tell kids straight up and say, listen, not everyone can be a supermodel. And I'd rather have them tell them, listen, I'd rather have you know that you're beautiful, and empower them, and know that they can live their life as a beautiful, empowered person and not be a model, than be scammed for thousands of dollars. So it's really important for me to get that education out there.
That's great information. We hear the stories of models all the time, the ones and how they were discovered, and just the challenges and the struggles, and then for the ones that become elite. How does one become a model agent? How did you get into this business?
Yeah, well, that's a loaded question, because I'll tell you what, I found it by accident. And the thing is, like almost all my friends that are model agents also founded by accident. So it's a job that not many people know about, and it's a job that you can't really study to be one. You can't you just fall into it, and so it's sort of a path that's waiting for you. And luckily, I was searching. I didn't know what I wanted, but I was looking for something that was different, that didn't exist. I was looking for something that didn't exist, and so it found me. The universe sent it to me, and it's my dream job. I love it.
Amazing, amazing. You hit on something too. I think is important to talk about in this business, and your authenticity and your integrity, which is also why we're so excited to have you on the VIDSIG platform. But how do you balance, or how do you go about being in this business, as we mentioned, that's super competitive, and still paying attention and nurturing the mental well-being of all of these young men and women who aspire to be great in this modeling world?
Yeah, well, it's hard because, first of all, it's hard because really we are under so much pressure that really, like, we are the thing that's waved in front of our face every day are results and winning, and that's where you get into trouble when you see these things, in the news. You see, you see anything from like the Me Too movement to these different movements that are happening where people end up having to pay the price for these bad behaviors and activities. So we're under tremendous pressure to succeed. And in times, agents go through to whatever they have to succeed. But really, at the end of the day, it begins with values, and you have to be able to make sure you balance that. And remember that these are kids. These are kids that you're working with. Kids are our products, and you have to always remind yourself every day who the type of people you're dealing with, and you have a responsibility to teach them properly, and that you're responsible for them. And if you don't remind yourself of that every day, then you put yourself at jeopardy to miss the mark and get yourself in trouble. So you have to be able to remind yourself where the goal is, and what who you're dealing with, and if you can do all of that, then that's where you can achieve great things. Great things.
Where do you draw your inspiration from?
Empowering kids, helping kids find their power. Every day, that's the reason why I'm in this business. Helping find the underdog. I love finding the underdog. I love finding the kid that never knew that they were beautiful. The thing that I love more than anything about fashion, the fashion world, is that I would say that the majority of models in the fashion world, the kids in high fashion, I'm not going to lie, they're weird looking. They're a little bit weird looking. They're a little gangly looking, and most likely they were not popular in high school. And I love that underdog and that ugly duckling, and perhaps I was one. And I love finding that, because to help that kid know what kind of power they have and helping them find that, it's the thing that drives me every day. And I've been doing this for 25 years, and it drives me every day. It's the most beautiful thing, and it never stops.
Well, as someone who grew up gangly and 6 feet tall, who found sports, thankfully, to make me feel like I fit in, I can appreciate that that feeling like the oddball out, and getting my head cut off and all the pictures with my friends, and that kind of stuff. What is it that I wanted to ask you this question. Where is the most unique or crazy or place or story that you've discovered a modeling talent?
Gosh, God, there's been so many over the years. God, where would be a really unique place? It would take me a while, but for sure, I remember I was on a tour boat in Jamaica, and this was like a kid, like in a small fishing village, who was transferring us to like a lobster lunch in like the middle of this like island. It was like on a snorkel cruise, and I went over, and he was amazing looking, and so I went over there, and these are the kind of kids who they can't even like afford a bus ride from this village to Kingston town, and which is probably like maybe less than $10. So it's like, and I end up like, speaking to my contacts in Jamaica who ended up advancing him the $10 to take a ride to him, and so we got him an opportunity. But it's everywhere. Our eyes were always open.
That's a great story. I love it. I love it. What are you most proud of in terms of your profession thus far?
It's I'm proud of my career. I mean, I got to lead. I got to direct what many tell me was the greatest men's supermodel and agency in the world, in the history of male models. I got to direct that, and that was something that I got to help build it and lead it, and that was something that I'll always have because those people you grew up with and everything. But I would say that maybe something that's really special in my heart was I will always recall a conversation I had with a client where they were looking for a special boy that was like no other, that no one had ever seen, that was like no other for this special project. And I called them and I told them that I had a boy that was like no other, this boy was not a boy in their sense of the word, and it was not a boy in the world as the world knew it. And this boy's name was Castle MacArthur, and ended up being the first trans male in the high fashion. And that kid opened up the door for all the beautiful trans males in the business right now, because at that point, the conversation was not even being had. No one knew no one even considered it at that point. It was all trans females, and that is something that will always be very, very important to me, because it was hard. I didn't even know how to pitch it. I was really kind of shaking on how to tell that story, but it was important to me, and I know that I changed something in the business, and it will always be very important to me.
What are you most looking forward to as we move ahead in coming out of this pandemic and all of the things and the challenges everyone's gone through, and I'm sure in your business like everybody else, but what are you most looking forward to in the next year?
I think that it's really going to be how everyone completely redefines themselves. I think that it's like we have this opportunity. It's like we have inclusivity growing, larger and larger. It's like we have, it's like people are still, inclusivity is growing, but people are still using it as an excuse to say that they're representing and everything. We have an opportunity to really redefine ourselves, and for the business to redefine themselves, and I think that it's going to allow us to be more creative than ever, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out, because I don't even know. I know that I'm redefining myself. I know that COVID helped me find myself in a completely different way, and how I'm looking at the business, and how the life that I want for me. And so, yeah, I don't even know, so I look forward to all the uncertainty. I think I'm embracing the uncertainty more than ever, more than I ever have before.
There's a peace in that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us went kicking and screaming with it, but there's a peace in that.
Yeah.
I felt like Miss Moon. I just wanted to go hide for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if you are interested in connecting live with Greg Chan and talking all things in the modeling world, I highly, highly encourage you to go to VIDSIG.com and schedule your session with him today. I can imagine you're going to fill up very quickly. Such amazing advice you're giving. And to your point, there's so much misinformation out there, and people that want to get into this business and learn from one of the best. And we're creating that opportunity, instant access to your integrity and your credibility. So before I let you go, what is one piece of advice you would give to anyone listening here that might want to get into this business?
Yeah, I mean, be weird. Be weird. Don't be afraid to be weird, because it belongs in fashion, and you belong in fashion, and that's where I found my peace with me, and the stars are much closer when you're that way. I just think that it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. That's what I can advise you.
I love it. Authenticity always works.